What's up, doctor?
How's it going?
Good. Happy birthday, Louise.
Happy birthday, Louise.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep. I've stretched it out as far as I can. They'll be gone over the weekend.
I'm not quite sure who
Forward to
Sherry
meet-
is, but
I'm looking forward to meeting Sherry one day. I've seen her name.
I was like, I'm not sure who Sherry is, but I'm gonna make sure I change that.
Well, I don't think Sherry has a beard and a mustache, so I don't think the person yelling her name and the other square is her. She likes to fish, like Sherry likes to fish.
I saw that. That I saw.
Hey, Denny,
Hey, what?
one of the expired sellers I called earlier this week said, "Oh, my best friend has a brokerage and I've known him for years." However, we kept talking, and then at the end of the conversation, he said, "Well, my best friend is with this brokerage, and they only deal with 8-figure properties, and my property is 7 figures. So we should talk." And he said, "You're the only agent that I've actually had a conversation with." And then he actually referred someone else to me because he decided to stay where he is. But I thought it was cool because when we hear that they have a friend who is an agent, we think, or I think, to ask, well, is the person full-time or part-time? Are they local? I never thought to ask, what do they specialize in?
That is an eye opener. That is
That's
an eye opener.
interesting.
I just made you co-host too, Louise.
Okay. Hey, how did it go
So-
last weekend when you met your neighbor?
Well, it went good. My daughter met me over there. We met, had a conversation, sat at the couch. I mean, they took control of it from the beginning. They're talking to a neighbor already that I know would like to buy the house. And it was, so I think it went well. I mean, I didn't get the listing, but I don't think they were ready to list or make the commitment with an agent anyway. So we shall see. Kind of something I did interesting, you guys, because I have a flexible fee program. Well, let me welcome everybody. We'll talk. Welcome everybody to the Master of Real Estate. Denny Grimes here. It is December 5th, 2024. Happy New Year. And I appreciate you guys being on. You might be watching by YouTube. What we do is really get to another level of mastery. I want to share some of my experience, some of my thoughts. And if you are watching this online on the YouTube channel, then you can there's a QR code to get a registration to come in and join us live. You can participate, you can watch. However, the only way you get better at golf is hit some golf balls. So come hit some role play with us. And we also have a daily role play called Recon. There's a QR code if you want to join me and co-host for that. And it is January 5th. There's my YouTube channel. If you've not signed up, there's over 200 videos there. Denny Grimes, the Master of Real Estate. And let me start with the thought of the day, if I can. Then Louise, I'll go back and answer your question in a second. Now, this is pretty transparent. We have a small group here. We get a lot of views online. Here is something that's bugging me, and I want to encourage you to do this if you haven't already. The thought of the day is I want you guys to know, I'll get out of the way. I want you guys to know the market, the direction of your market. I've asked a number of people what's going on with their market as far as pricing goes, and I hear the same answer, and I don't think it's right. Prices are stable, and I'm going to demonstrate that. So write down, you can write it down, or you can tell me out loud. There's not that many people here. What are prices doing in your market? What?
In my market, we're seeing actually a slight decrease in our market here in our pricing.
Okay.
In the homes. Yeah. Sorry.
Louise, you say it's going up.
Yeah, and I well, actually, let me verify that before I say it. But I can look at the numbers from the Sunstat numbers, right, from one month to the next month, and see how the median price is moving, if it's going up or down, and look at the days on market and look at the volume as well.
I'm gonna I believe, and I've had a conversation with Sandra, I think, on a coaching call, and other people, even my wife. I was hoping Dawn would be on today because I challenge the fact, I do not think, it really depends on how you look at it. And this is the mastery level of this. So bear with me. Now, I don't know if you can see that or not. I don't know how to make it any better. However, make it big on your screen. I'm not going to bore you with a lot of details. I'm going to show you how people can slice and dice a market to make it appear one way, and it may not be. So really quick here, just give me 2 minutes. This is a snapshot from our MLS, the median price of single family homes. So if you're going to measure something, that's really what you should be measuring. You can measure condos, you can measure lots. So however, I use single family homes because it's the broadest point. This is a monthly median. Now, again, when you measure monthly median, it's like measuring how much does a tree grow every week. It's not an accurate measurement because there's a lot of variables, right? Let's talk about trends. So can you read the number that I have highlighted down there? I'll get out of the way here in a second. Can you read that? Can you see it? 400,000 was the monthly median in my market, Lee County, Florida, in December. Now, what's interesting is the market going up or down. Well, you can, if you look over here to the December year over year, it said 409,000, down a little bit. However, I'm going to make one click here. Look at what the median price was the first 6 months of the year. And if you can't see it, it's 425, 450, 437, 438, 445, 435. And now, ever since then, the last 6 months, it has been doing what? Going down. I don't believe my market's different than your market. It's just how people are looking at it. So the advantage of you guys knowing the velocity and the direction of your market is, I don't believe we can see slowing sales and rising prices. I believe prices are softening from their peak. Now, one more thing I want to show you on this, and this is important when it comes to our conversations and our role play. I can clearly tell the seller, well, if we would have sold 6 months ago, you could have gotten more. And I can demonstrate that. So values are falling. And when you look at 6 months to 6 months, however, do you know, here's a question I want you to find out. When was the peak of your market? Our market, measuring median sales price by month, was April, May, and June of 2022. Look at this, 470, 465, 450, which is very similar to the 450 over here. But when you look at the very tippy top peak of the market, April of 2022, compared to now, prices are down 15%. So someone, this is mastery level, and I want you to, how do we apply that? Somebody speak up. How do you apply that real stat to a seller?
Denny, if the median price of homes have declined 15% since last year, are you prepared to wait until 6 months next year to see if your price will be, or how do you feel the price will be in 6 months?
Okay, that's better because again, we don't make predictions about the next 6 months. All right, that's one way. Give me another way. Anyone, how would you use this with a seller? You know what? Here's the seller. I'll give you the objection. Well, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till spring. Teresa, hi there. I'm going to wait till spring. How would you use this with a seller that says, I'm going to wait till spring?
I mean, my first question would be probably, what do you think is going to happen in the spring when you put your house on the market?
True, but again, that doesn't relate to this. You're asking them what they think about the future. You already have data suggesting what?
That it's already decreased from this past spring.
Yes. So let me ask you now, if So you could show, and you could show them this. Listen, the peak of our market at 470, we're now at 400. That's down 15%. Which way is the market drifting?
Which way?
And
Downward.
again, I'm going to fill in some stuff for you. So if someone wants to wait, and this is some of the words I'll use, if your home is worth less every day, do you want to sell it sooner or later? In order to make that statement, number one, the market must be kind of being in that direction, and you won't have that conversation if you believe the market is not going down. And I can't say I know your market. I bet you $1 to a donut. It is when you compare it to the peak. Now you're going to see it bounce around, but the trend would be down. Y'all get me?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how would you use this stat for a buyer? Uh-oh, what happened? There we go. How would you use that stat with a buyer?
Teresa raised her hand, her real hand.
I was
Oh.
looking for my fake hand.
Yeah, Teresa.
I would say, hey, buyer, you have a unique opportunity right now. Even though we've gone through the craziest housing market in American history, prices are trending down. And because it's January, there's not as many people out there. And did you notice the interest rates are down now too? So this is one of the most unique times in recent history to buy a house.
Okay, awesome. Anybody else would take a stab at that?
I think for a buyer that would say, well, I'm going to continue to wait for the prices to drop. You told me that they've dropped over the past few months. My response to that would be, well, if that's the case, do you think that more buyers are also going to be coming out on the market at that time as well? And then wait for their response and then say, therefore, would now be the best time before you have all the other competition coming to the market.
Very nice. But again, you can start to have some fun with this. Listen, shh. I'm going to tell you something. I don't want you to tell anybody else. Homes are on sale. They're 15% off. But the sale won't last if you let other people know, because when they come in to want to buy the home, it's going to put the prices back up. So do you want to buy during the sale, or you want to wait till prices go up? You see the kind of fun you can have with this when you know rock solid in your gut that the market is trending downward. So that's my thought of the day. Did anybody get anything worthwhile out of that?
That was really great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
So
houses for sale. I like that. I like that one.
Well, I challenge you to look at your market. And one more thing that I'll let you know, and this is, I just gave this to our local paper. I haven't seen the article. I think it came out Sunday. For a seller, what if the seller says, well, I think I missed the market. I should have sold and I'm going to wait because I missed the market. You see how that could backfire on you? I could have sold it for 470, let's say, or 15% more in April than I can right now. How would you handle that? How would you use the stats in your favor?
If they're buying,
This is a seller.
yeah,
Well, if they're buying, I got it. Okay.
Well, Mr. Seller, when you sell the house you're buying, the good news is the house that you're buying is also going to be 15% less.
Okay. Certainly can neutralize that. Certainly can neutralize that. Okay. Good job. How about this? Now, again, I didn't talk about this. However, the way I package the market, and I think it's true around the country because we've all gone through COVID. We've seen our markets kind of go in a crazy fashion during COVID. Yes and yes, right? However, what I'm seeing happen in the market, and the best way that I have been able to describe it, you should write it down and ponder this. Our market is slowing to normal. Now, this is just my market, but I bet your market's very similar. COVID happened in 2020. The best market we had in our area, it was 2019 before COVID, and COVID, all bets were off, right? So therefore, 2019 is the plumb line. So everything that happens, I compare to a rational market of 2019. I'm not looking at COVID anymore, because that was a once in a lifetime where you find a 4-leaf clover. You see Haley's comment, and I get a call from Jennifer Aniston, and she wants to go have coffee with me. Okay, it's like all those 3 things happen at one time. Although I did have a call from Jennifer, just wasn't Jennifer Aniston. Okay, so here's what I want. Here's where I go with that. And this is what I want you guys to check. Yes, you could have sold it for more in 2022, but you weren't thinking about it then. So Louise, how long have you owned the home?
19 years.
All right, well, awesome on that. Well, you know, let's say, well, okay, it doesn't really matter. The interesting thing about us slowing to normal, the volume of our sales is slowing to normal with one exception. Guess what, guys? If 2019 is our plumb line, our prices are up 69% since 09. You've got to remind them they're playing with the house's money if they've owned since 2019.
Yep.
So there's my thought of the day. I don't want to geek out on you. I just want you guys to know, and again, summary, know your market's direction, because it gives you authority and confidence when you have discussions with buyers and sellers. So there we go.
I have a question about that.
Yep.
I like the numbers that you showed. I have a graph. I'm wondering if it's better to show the numbers or the graph or both. What do you do when you're at a listing presentation?
Well, I would never show that to a buyer or seller. That is not presentation quality. A graph or a simple graph, just showing 2 numbers, much better. So great. I'm glad you asked me that. I would never show buyers this or sellers. That's too much crap. I don't even know if you guys saw it. That's why I put circles around it. So yes, if you can show a graph, if you want to use stats, make it pretty, add colors, and make it simple. All right. Who's got their hand up? Who's ready to go? Base mastery level?
Teresa
guys
and
pick?
Dr. Lauren have their invisible hands up.
Who?
Teresa and Dr. Lauren have their invisible hands up.
I do not. I don't, this is my first mastery call. I'm not
Is it
sure.
really?
Yes.
You sounded like a master to me, Teresa.
Yeah, but she could be a buyer or seller though. Oh, no. You can do that, right, Teresa?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. She's a team leader in Columbus. Awesome lady. All right, Dr. Lauren. She's one of my bold graduates in where was it? Forget.
That was in Jersey.
Jersey. All right. Now, all right, you want a buyer or seller, Dr. Lauren?
Yeah, I'm gonna do expired.
No.
No, seller.
No, we did that. All right, I'm gonna let you do an expired. You got a minute and a half. Then you're gonna handle an objection at the table. You're calling Teresa. Teresa is expired. You've got a minute and a half. Ring, ring, go.
Ring, ring. Hi, Teresa. Is this the owner for 123 Main Street?
Yes, it is.
Wonderful. I'm reaching out because I noticed that your house is no longer on the market. Are you still interested in moving?
Yeah, we're moving.
Wonderful. So just curious, when are you going to be putting your house back on the market?
Yeah, we decided that we're gonna put it on the market ourselves. I'm gonna put it
Okay.
up for sale by owner.
Cool. And what's made you decide to do that?
Well, we just worked with a realtor, and I mean, I don't want to throw her under the bus, but she didn't do anything.
Oh,
And
didn't do-
Yeah, I can do a much better job of selling my house than she did.
yeah. I'm sure you can sell it. I've seen it at least from the outside, and it looks pretty beautiful. Do you have experience selling homes in the past?
No, nope, but I realized it's not rocket science, seeing what she did.
Fair enough. And if a buyer were to come,
Wait a minute. So it's not rocket science doing what she did. You're saying fair enough. Is that what you really think? Fair enough?
no, I don't really think fair enough, but
Well, if you're going to acknowledge working in your favor. When you say fair enough, it's like, okay, well, I don't blame you. It sounds like something I would do too.
Or
Got
ask me what she did. I'm dying
Well,
to tell.
that's what I was getting to next. The rocket science stuff, I'm kind of like, okay, that's fine. I get your perspective on that. But my next question would be, what is it? You said she didn't do anything. What would you have liked your agent to do for you?
Well, I just felt when people came through the house, like I expected her to follow up with the other agent that showed the house and get some feedback and let me know. Like I kept asking her, like, if they're not buying the house, why aren't they buying it? Like, what do they like about our house? Because obviously we think our house is pretty darn nice, and we've done a lot of updates to it. So, and I watch HGTV. I mean, I know how to get a house ready.
Okay. And did you guys have a lot of?
I'm going to interrupt. Keep your train of thought.
Got it.
This is for everyone here on the call and watching. What's going on with the conversation? Do you feel like if this is a fishing, if Lauren is fishing and Teresa is the fish on the hook, is the fish fighting? No, the fish isn't running from the boat. She's swimming towards the boat. And so Lauren can reel a little bit. Now would be a good time to go to what? I'll show you. Motivation. You see, you have that opening. When they're fighting you and you start asking too many questions, you might lose them. However, now she's talkative. She wants to kind of let you know, well, what were you going to do when you sold? So I would go to motivation, Lauren.
Yeah, absolutely. So, thank you for letting me know. And obviously the follow-up and the feedback is really important. When you guys do sell, where were you guys headed to?
Well, I'm hoping to move to South Florida. I know a really good agent down there that was gonna help me find a house.
Wonderful.
Oh, might be you, Louise.
And what's in South Florida for you?
Sunshine.
Sunshine. I totally understand that. And when did you want to be there by?
Well, it's January, so we were trying to get there like now, January, February, but man, if I could make it by March, I'd still be happy.
By March. Okay. And if that's something we were able to do, if I was able to help you get to sunny Florida in the next 30 days, is that something that would be of interest to you?
Well, let me ask you a question. How are you going to do that? What do
that's
different.
That is an excellent question. I would love to come by and take a look at your property and give you really fine-tuned information on how exactly I would be able to do that. Are you available this afternoon around 4?
Well, let me ask you another question. Do you actually have like a buyer that you can bring through? I mean, I've enjoyed talking to you and you seem interested, but you can only imagine my level of frustration at this point. And I mean, I watch the news, I see the lawsuits. I mean, why am I paying somebody to sell my house?
I absolutely understand that. There's been tons of things going on in the news, and I don't know if I have a buyer for your house yet because I haven't seen it yet. And I'm sure, as you can tell from our conversation, I'm professional with the work that I do, and so I always review properties before I even say yes, I have a buyer for that. So in order to give you an accurate information and to keep that line of communication open, which you mentioned was important to you, I would love to come by today, give you 13 minutes of your time, and then you can make a decision from there. How does that sound?
Can you really do it in 13 minutes?
I guarantee you.
And let me tell you what to add after that. And if I'm there any longer than 13 minutes, it's because you've asked me to stay.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, I did too.
I'm writing that down.
That works really good with D's. Listen, I only need 4 minutes of your time. And if I need any more than that, it's only because you've asked me for more.
Ooh, that's so good.
I like that.
Sandra, that'll be just for you. Now let's stop for a second.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard to do this all, but when I'm writing and thinking, I kind of remember it all. Actually, all in all, I like it. It was good pace. If I had to add some sandpaper to make it better, I already mentioned your acknowledgments. Just be careful. You're using a lot of cools and oohs and ahs. And sometimes you don't want to anchor a stupid decision on their part. Just acknowledge it.
Yeah.
The other
I remember that
thing
feedback
is,
thank you.
there was opportunity. For example, when you said, I'm going to sell myself, I would have said, oh, so you're willing to sell your home for less?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you ask a question like that, that's kind of like, well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
So let's say, so you said, well, what do you mean? Well, obviously, I mean, if you're going to do something, let me ask you, what do you do for a living, Teresa?
I'm a nurse.
Okay, and how long have you been a nurse?
25 years.
So you could probably help someone who's needed to be bandaged up and maybe it's to be sewn, sutured or whatever, right? Did you have experience doing stuff like that?
Absolutely.
But what if I watched a video on that on YouTube and could I do a good as job of you as you?
Well, yeah, no, no.
And obviously that, do you cut your own hair?
No.
I mean, what you could do that. Anyone can cut a hair. I mean, it's just like simple scissors and like get a flowy.
Haircut one I like.
I'm having a little fun with you, but you get where I'm going.
Yes.
So I could say, do you think then somebody who does this full time, you're a nurse full time, is better than maybe somebody who took a Red Cross class in Boy Scouts?
But our last agent was full-time.
Yeah, but she was not, there's a lot of people, let me ask you, in nursing, are there some nurses that are full time that aren't really into what they do?
Yep.
And so
Definitely.
you want to get a good nurse, you also want to get a good agent. Can I come by and talk to you about why I should be your nurse?
Yes. Bring your CPR certification with you.
The other thing, what would be one more thing before we go on to the next one? How else could you nail the fact so you want to sell it for less? Who can give me the 4 types of buyers?
Well, I know one of them is a discount buyer.
Serious in a hurry, serious not in a hurry. Looky-loos and investors.
Right. So go ahead and give her the conversation so you guys can make notes on this. This is out of Classic Gold and other people use it as well. So have a conversation with Teresa or Louise. Well, you're going to sell it for less. Well, you know there's 4 types of buyers, but you'd like to know what they are. Go.
Teresa, did you know there are 4 types of buyers?
No.
Yeah. Would you like to know what those 4 types are?
I think I would.
Okay, they're the buyers who are serious and in a hurry, and they're working with professional agents like me to go and see properties. There are people who are serious and not in a hurry. They're also working with investor or realtors like me to find properties for them. Then there are looky-loos who are the people who just walk into open houses, go to for sale by owners or unsolicited, unrepresented sellers. And then there are investors who offer pennies on the dollar.
Right. Now that is a very short Cliff Notes version. You really want to go into a little more detail, but nice job listed the 4 types. And that conversation, just one level deeper than what Louise did, the 4 types are serious in a hurry. Now they're coming into town, could be relocated or whatever. They'll have a short period of time to find a home and they're serious about it and in a hurry. So what do you think they're going to do, Teresa? Drive around and learn the area themselves and go shop for sale by owners? Or are they going to hire the services of a professional that will help them get a home fast?
Yeah, but if I have it on Zillow as a FSBO, won't that just be the same? Like, won't an agent see it on there and show it to their buyers?
Well, again, I don't know if you have it on there I don't know how you're going to list it. However, agents don't go to Zillow to make appointments. They go to the multiple listing service to make appointments.
They do.
So anyway, that's serious in a hurry. Then you have those people that's serious, not in a hurry. These could be first-time home buyers or somebody that's new to the area. Do you think they're going to go out and do this on their own when they really need someone to help them learn the area, hold their hand? Are they going to use the services of a professional real estate agent? Now, it used to say when it was free. I don't know that we're going to say that anymore because of the NAR lawsuit. However, those types of buyers are going to use a professional as well. Next, you have investors. Investors is really the third one. Now, these people will actually be looking on Zillow and looking for people like you. because the first thing they're gonna attempt to do is negotiate you down, because after all, you're not paying a commission and they want to buy something maybe 60 cents on the dollar. I don't think you want to sell your house that low, do you?
No, absolutely not.
And the last ones are looky-loos. They have no money, no credit, no professional agent's gonna take them out. So the only thing they can do after they go to Cracker Barrel on Sundays is go look at homes. There you go.
Okay,
Alright.
but do you want to know what I would say though?
Okay,
I would want you to drive home the point why it's important to have it listed with an agent instead of being a FSBO. Because I'm thinking in my brain that as a FSBO, it's still gonna get all of the publicity that it would get if it was listed with an agent.
okay. Alright, somebody is shy. This is my first
Okay.
time. She's kind of walking up, right? Alright, so here we go. And I'll help you with that. So let me ask you, Teresa, if you're gonna put it on by owner, we call them an unassisted seller, you're gonna go alone. Are you willing to pay a brokerage?
Right.
If I bring you a buyer, you want to pay me a fee?
Yeah. If you do a
Okay,
good
and
job.
what is that fee? What is that fee?
What is your fee?
Well, it depends. I have a flexible fee, either 2% or 6%.
What's the difference?
Oh, so now we're talking about fees for me, if you elected to hire me? Do you want to have that conversation?
Oh, no, not right now. I want to know how you would answer.
I am role playing with you.
Okay, so you want to keep going?
You're the one that stopped.
Okay. Yeah, I want to know what the difference is.
No, no, I ask you what you're willing to pay a buyer's agent. What the difference is, that was off roll.
Okay. Oh, so our last, when I had it listed, it was 3% to a buyer's agent.
Okay, then, okay, so that's awesome, and congratulations, that's a good move, because most likely the buyer, as we just talked about, is gonna come from an agent. So then, what are you attempting to save then? 3%?
Yeah, and I think I can get more money for my house. I can sell my house better than this person was.
Well, you're comparing a good nurse with a bad nurse. Yes, you can, there's no doubt, and watch this, you can sell your house. No problem. It's just how much money are you gonna leave on the table? May I explain?
Sure.
Anybody want to take it from there? Because we're gonna be slicing the bologna now.
Lights away.
I want to jump in, but I'm not sure if this is gonna be the best thing, but are you aware that when you sell the house when you sell the house by yourself as for sale by owner, that typically you're gonna get lower than you would if you were selling it with an agent. Are you aware of that?
Now, hang on just a second. Now, you're using a stat from NAR.
Correct.
However, why are they getting lower?
Because I was gonna ask that, like, why, how do you know that?
They're getting lower typically because of, as we mentioned before, the 4 different types of buyers. When you get those, when you bring those buyers through, you have those buyers, typically the ones who are going to work with the for sale by owners are going to be either your looky-loos who don't really have the money needed to give you a full price offer on your house, or you're going to deal with those investors who are going to pay 60 cents to the dollar. Is that something you're willing?
I just want you to think this through. That is probably because the best buyers are working with agents.
Best buyers work, right? Got it.
The most motivated, okay, and it's the investors. That's why that number, I forget what I've heard it on this, like what 8-14% or some crazy
14.
number.
I think it's like 12 to 14%. Yeah.
It's shockingly high, but I don't go down that road. But you're on the right track. So who knows how to slice the salami? We're talking about 3%. She thinks she can sell it for more. Who wants to take it from that point? No takers?
For yourself. Do you know
Yes.
the major points of negotiation in any transaction? Any real estate transaction?
Do I know which now?
the major points of negotiation in a real estate transaction?
Well, I'm assuming price.
Mhm.
And then we'd have to settle on a closing date. And then they might want, they're probably gonna do an inspection and want me to do repairs, which I'm doing none. So I guess those three.
And an appraisal. Those are typically the 4 areas of negotiation.
Well, the appraisal's not my problem. It's their problem.
Ah, this is a pretty cocky
Tell me-
seller.
Tell me, tell me
I've
more.
had all these.
Tell me more.
Well, the buyer has to deal with the appraisal. The appraisal's not my problem.
And the
Need to pay.
appraisal, and what is the purpose of the appraisal?
The appraisal is for the buyer to get his loan.
Mhm. So if a buyer isn't, if your property isn't going to appraise at a price that you're willing to sell it for, how will a buyer who isn't cash purchase your home?
That's his problem. He signed the contract. That's not my problem.
Is your goal to sign a contract or get to the closing table though?
We'll get to the closing table, but if I have a signed contract, I'm going to the closing table.
If the buyer can't get a loan though, they
You
don't
have
have
to-
cash, are you going to make it to the closing table?
He's gonna have to get the money from somebody else because he signed the contract that he was gonna pay that amount.
Teresa, there's you know what a mortgage contingency is, correct?
No,
That means they have 21 days, 30 days, 18 days in order to get clearance from the bank, which includes an appraisal. So if they go through that, and in 3 weeks later, we find out it doesn't appraise, and you are in the process of attempting to move, and you find out a week before closing, they're not going to close. Has their problem become your problem?
I would sue them.
You can't, because they have a contingency, meaning if they don't get the loan, they can walk away.
Well, I'm not gonna put that in my contract.
Okay, so you're only working with cash buyers, right?
No, but I'm just gonna tell them that if it doesn't appraise, that's their problem.
Okay, and so if you when you buy your next home, are you going to be using cash or financing?
Financing,
And what if the seller said, listen, if you don't get a loan, I don't care, you can't walk away, you're going to lose your deposit, what would you say?
oh my gosh.
That-
Okay. All right, so we'll have to deal with the appraisal too.
Then therefore, so we can acknowledge then, if a buyer doesn't get, the home doesn't appraise, it is also your problem.
Yes, but I'm gonna make sure I do a really good check-in on the buyer.
Okay, and so let's talk about that. So what forms do you plan on using for this transaction?
Oh, my husband, his brother's an attorney, so he's gonna draw something up for us.
Okay, so it's kind of like my neighbor, the kid was playing on a bike, cut her leg, and I just got some old sewing needles and I've got some thread inside the sewing kit I had when I was a Boy Scout. I'm going to use that to sew up her leg. That's what you're saying, correct?
Well, no, because I mean, he's a small claims court attorney, but I think he can write up a real estate. Again, I don't think it's brain surgery.
Oh, so she's she's demonstrating Freddy Krueger and Jason all rolled up in one. Yeah, and again, you might it doesn't. If you want to keep going, I can keep going, and we can tag team it, because the issue is, here's what I would say next. Teresa, let me just ask you: if I were free, would you hire me?
I'd have you come over and show me what you can do. Yes. Yeah.
Well, that was like a
Well, that's great.
phone call to
Like-
get the appointment.
I'll come over at 4 o'clock today.
All right. Anyone want to take it from there? Now you're there with Freddy Krueger and you're at the table. How do you sell your value proposition? Who wants to take it from there? Sandra, come on. You and I have been working on this. Don't
Oh,
sit
can
there
I
like
just
a-
say one thing? Just as a sidebar. So I've been working on value propositions with our agents, and that's exactly what I was trying to get to. Like, tell me what your value is so that I want to work with you. Because in my opinion, I'm literally giving you, I keep talking to you instead of hanging up. So I am sending the message subconsciously that I really don't want to list this house myself, or I wouldn't spend all this time talking to you.
And right, and I should have picked up on the fact that I forgot we were, the goal of the phone call is to get an appointment, and I was more demonstrating how to handle the objection, and it wouldn't be over the phone. So now we're at the table. So great, this is great learning. This would be a good tape for the library. Who wants to talk in terms of value proposition? And remember my mantra, you guys, a great listing agent is free to a seller. How are you going to demonstrate how you're free? Louise, you're on a good track. Although you have to slow it down and break down and quantify the 3 or 4 points of negotiation.
I actually was taking notes. To put
Okay,
in the chat.
you
So
can note.
I'm gonna continue that and let Sandra take it.
Thanks a lot.
Oh,
I was
Sandra.
sending
Yeah,
an email. Thanks a lot. What am I doing? Telling about my experience?
No, we don't want to hear about you. We want to hear about your value proposition, why you're free to her.
I'm not sure that I can really answer that.
Okay, that's fair. I can get you started.
Go ahead.
Okay,
You do
so I'm
three
now
people?
at the table with you, Teresa, right?
Sure.
And we looked at, so let's pick it up from there. You're willing to pay a broker 3% if they bring you an acceptable offer, right? So you're attempting to save 3%. Now, let me just ask you this. You don't do this every day. Obviously, you're a bright person, you're a professional. Is it possible somebody, let me ask you this question, in your opinion, no wrong answer. Do you think the market's working in your favor or working against you as a seller? Number one, write this down if you're writing down steps. Find out where they stand on the market. Remember, that's why I wanted you guys to know your market's direction. Find out what they think. Don't tell them, ask them. So do you think the market's working in your favor as a buyer, a seller, or working against you?
Well, I watch CNN and Fox News, both of them, so I can get a balanced view. And I kind of feel like it's against me right now. And that's why I'm so anxious to get it sold. I feel like housing markets are dropping, like Chicken Little is falling from the sky.
So therefore, do you think selling faster or sooner is better than selling later?
Heck yeah. Yes.
So then, okay, let's talk in terms of that. Then you think if hiring a professional and you are faster at your job than if I stepped in to sub for you, or a brand new candy striper walked in, that candy striper is not going to be as fast as you, are they?
No.
So is it possible that a seller that wants to sell fast before the market erodes, now I'm going to rub salt in it, before the market erodes out from under them, sells it faster, that you might sell it for 1% more because you have somebody who knows all the steps and is lickety split? Could you maybe sell it for 1% more?
I think so.
Okay. So now what you're attempting to save 2%.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. And do you think somebody who works in the market each and every day can understand strategic positioning, not pricing, positioning, that would cause it to get more activity and action to get a stronger offer? And the stronger offer could it not be 1% higher than somebody who doesn't do it for a living?
Yeah, but I don't understand what you mean by stronger positioning. What is that?
Well, do you know what the difference is between 605 and 598?
Yes.
What?
7.
No, it's called positioning. Ever walk into Walmart, never look at their prices,
Yeah.
and they end in some stupid number at the end?
Yes.
That's positioning.
Okay.
So you position it for the maximum number of eyeballs to see it. But the bottom line is, if more people see it, does that generate stronger offers?
Yeah, but what would you price mine at?
Well, we're not going to have that conversation until you elect to hire me.
Okay. All right. But I like what you say. Okay, what do you do anything for free to get my house ready, even though it doesn't need much?
Wait, I'm not done. I'm
Oh,
not done.
okay.
Now, we've saved 2%, right?
Yes.
So now compare now when, let's imagine you put it on the market and it hasn't sold and you want to sell it fast and you're doing it by yourself and you haven't been able to sell it. You've got it listed. Now you have to lower the price because you must be too high. Is it possible somebody in your position may lower the price maybe 1% lower than they should?
Yeah.
And then when the offer comes in with the other agent, which you said you're going to cooperate with, who are they working for?
They're people.
And when their people, and what is their job for their people?
To get the least amount for my house as possible.
So you have letting the enemy walk through your house. They get rewarded to save money for people that will be living in your house. That is it possible you could sell it for 1% less because you're negotiating with somebody who does it for a living?
I never thought of that.
Well, but that's 4 or 5%. So if somebody knocked on your door and said, "I'd love to paint your house," it's a reputable painter. You've heard this before, you guys. Who can finish the story? You're muted.
You're on mute, Louise.
If a reputable painter wanted to paint your house, you want a contest, Teresa. I paint one house free every year, and you're happen to be the free house. And here's my guarantee. Would you let them paint it?
I would have to see some of his references.
If they all check out, would you let them do it?
Yeah, I would.
And every leap year, they paint one house and they walk up like Ed McMahon in balloons and Publisher Clearinghouse. Here is your check for $5,000. Thank you for letting me paint your house free. I'm going to pay you to paint your house. Would you let them do it?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm doing. I am not only not charging you, you're going to make money by hiring me.
So I don't have to pay you anything?
What you are saving is when I do the work.
I see.
Because you can, there's no doubt, remember what I said on the phone, there's no doubt you can sell it. The question is, how much money are you going to leave on the table?
Right. So you're saying you can make me more money and I'll still end up ahead if I pay you.
I didn't say that. You said that.
Oh,
You said that.
so what
I
are you,
just asked you, would you, I just sliced it down. Could you maybe misprice it by 1%, misnegotiate it by 1%? You said yes.
Yeah.
That's what you said. Oh, by the way, what's your time worth? You're working at the hospital, right? Do you want to run home and show it 4 times a week?
yeah, that's good. I like that.
I
So
need a whiskey.
that was all of my worst people put into one.
I was waiting for your head to do 360 and have projected vomiting.
Yeah. Yeesh. Okay, that was really good.
Anyway, let's talk about, let's go into something else. Let's talk about pricing. Sandra has a little demonstration. She wants to talk about pricing. So,
Do I now?
yes, you do. I have been working with Sandra on this and I'm very passionate about this. Lauren, we've had some discussions during Bold and, you know, about pricing and having conversations with sellers. And you asked the question, Teresa. I don't know. Maybe we'll give Teresa a break. So let Lauren, you can you're having a discussion and about pricing and ask Sandra, and this is a test, Sandra.
Thanks, Denny.
Where should I price it at? All right, so she's at the table, and Sandra is your listing potential. Is your potential listing agent.
Okay. All right, Sandra. Well, you know, a couple blocks over, I know they sold their house for 1.5. My house is definitely better than theirs, has a little extra features, more updates. So I'm thinking I should easily be able to get mine for 1.85. What
I
do you think?
understand that. I understand that, Lauren. Let me ask you this. When did your neighbors sell their home?
I think they sold it at the end of November, I believe.
Okay, of 2023.
Yes.
So what we can do is I'm nervous to even say this.
Don't.
Let me ask you this. You're wanting to be at what, 1.5, you said?
1.8. They're sold for 1.5. I want to sell mine for 1.8.
1.8. So, oh, I'm so nervous saying this. So may I show you what the market has been bearing in the last few months?
Okay, you've done that. You've got the comps, you've got the past sales layout and actives. All right, now she says I want 1.85. Now what?
Okay, so Lauren, if we list your house at 1.85, are you ready to go ahead and go to work with us today?
Absolutely.
Now that is progress. Now, big picture. If we forget, for those listening, some of you guys have heard this before, but understand a CMA will not tell you where that house will sell, not the maximum amount. It's not our job to predict the future. Again, now we're saying 1.85. I'm assuming it's not worth 500,000. Okay, so we're assuming the value is somewhere within the hemisphere.
Mhm.
The point is, get the commitment that you've got the listing. Commitment, then conversation, not conflict and commitment. Don't go to the mat starting to be wrestling with them. So nice job, Sandra. Perfect question. And you are going to say what, Lauren?
I'm going to say yes. Yes. If you can get that listed or sold for 1.8, I will work with you.
Now notice, hear the words. What did you hear, Sandra?
She said sold. The
And
first
that's
time
not
she
what
said,
we committed to do.
correct. We committed to listing her house at 1.8.
Right. Make sure you get that point ironed out. Because the only thing Lauren will remember in 4 months, you said you could get it sold for 1.85. That is not what we're saying.
So Lauren, let me just reiterate that we agreed to list the house at 1.8.
Okay.
The house is going to sell for whatever the buyer is willing to pay for your home.
Okay, I mean that's fine. We can list it at 1.8. And then just so you know, as my agent, if I decide to, sign the dotted line, I'm only going to accept offers at 1.8. Is that fair?
Not at all, but
No,
I
no,
wouldn't
fair.
say that.
No, I'm just going to stop for a
No.
moment. I know you're having fun. No, just slow down a moment. Do you see the importance of getting clarity on exactly what they're expecting you to do?
Mhm.
You've got to make sure. Don't assume. Make sure. Okay, well, yeah, if you say you get it sold for 1.85, I ain't walking on that ice. Round too many times. No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is this is where we're going to start. So Sandra, you did a good job. So are you agreeing? So I'm going to ask you, are you ready to put me to work for you today at 1.85?
Am I saying that or Sandra's saying that?
I am.
Okay.
She'll
He
go
said
back.
it
I'll
for
go
me.
back for a second.
I mean, yeah, if we can get it listed at 1.8, and if you have an understanding that that's what I want to sell it for, is that what you think people are going to buy it for?
All right, Sandra, that's the question. I'll throw it to you. How do you answer that? She's walking right into what you want to do next.
So, Lauren, I don't have the appropriate answer for you. I don't know what a buyer is going to offer and buy your house for.
But you do know what?
But I do know that we've got the 3 outcomes. Remember that form that I went over with you? The 3 things that would happen once we list your property?
Yeah, vaguely, yes.
Okay, well, let me reiterate that for you. Once we list your property, we're going to have either little to no showings,
Okay.
or we're going to have no showings, or no, I'm sorry, we're going to have showings but no offers, or we're going to sell your house at 1.8. So
I like that one. I like that one.
Never don't put your name.
I'm sorry, my bad.
So it's low to no showings, showings no offer, or it was sell. Now, this is mastery. When you say it sells at 1.8, what will they always remember?
1.8.
Yep. So really the conversation goes, are you willing to commit to me? Yes, knuckle bump. Okay, then the line is, then this is what you walked right into this. Now that we've agreed to work together, can I tell you what's going to happen next?
So
That's the
Lauren,
line.
now that we've agreed to work together, can I tell you what's going to happen next?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go through these three items here.
Okay.
This is what's going to happen.
Outcome
Okay.
one, low to no showings, which means that the bait is here, the fish are here. We have to reposition. Outcome number two, showings, no offers, or maybe a low offer. Good news is we're close, but the bridesmaid, not the bride. We're gonna have to reposition. Outcome number three, it sells. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I hope your marketing does well and you market it to the very best of your ability so we can get that 1.8. So if you can do that, I'm happy.
Okay.
We'll do
How
our
do you close,
best.
how do you close the conversation then, Sandra?
Here's the listing agreement. Do you mind go ahead and signing it? I'm going to have you
After
sign
all
these
that, after
outcomes
all
as
that.
well.
There's a place on here, the initial, this is something I was talking to Senator yesterday, I had the idea, when they initial this form, take a picture of that form that they've initialed. That is the picture that you're gonna send them prior to every follow-up call that you have, and let them know, every week, we're gonna have a conversation of what's happened and what's going on, etc. I'm always gonna start with question number one, what outcome are we at? And you'll have to show them, here's the new listings, here's the new sales, blah, blah, blah. Give them the neighborhood data. They'll ask about your marketing. You're going to have to tell them, send them how many hits, virtual tours, all that back end analytic stuff. You've got to demonstrate that the marketing is working, so you are bulletproof. And then you say, what outcome? Hey, Lauren, we've had one showing in the last week. What outcome are we at?
Looks like we're outcome number one.
Right. And so what does that seem to suggest? Now, notice it's been 1 week, guys. I'm not necessarily, I mean, depending on price range, 1 week isn't a long time. I mean, like it was a long time in COVID. 1 hour was a long time then. So, all right. So initially, what is the market saying, Lauren?
The market is saying we may need to reposition.
Okay.
How's your
And-
marketing been? How many showings have we had?
We've had one showing, but
One showing,
however,
okay.
however, you know, you have this information. This is why you have to have it.
Right.
You came up on a search on 145 searches in this area. There's you actually came up and people clicked through the photos on 18 times in the last week. And it generated one showing. So you got to add it this way. So it's clear the marketing's working.
Okay.
All right. So we can reposition or we can give it another week. What do you want to do?
I mean, I figure let's give it another week. Let's see if some people start waking up. I know, the holidays are still, people are still kind of shaking that off. So let's give it another week. I'm confident, you said people have been clicking through it and looking at it. Let's get some more eyes on it and let's revisit this another week from now.
All right, it's week 2. Louise, you're making the call. It's week 2. There was one more showing. What do you say? Ring, ring. It's calling her up. Lauren.
Hey, Lauren, it's Louise calling with the weekly update. Did I catch you at a good time or would you like to call me back at a better time?
This is great.
Okay, fantastic. So I just texted the 3 outcome sheet to you, and I've texted our online search information, our online search data. We can see that the marketing is working. However, we've had how many showings this week?
You said we just had one additional showing this week.
So where do you feel we are on that outcome sheet?
Well, I'm curious, before we go to that sheet that you sent over, your snazzy little sheet over there, what was the feedback from that one showing?
The feedback was that they felt the price was too high.
Oh, no. How do you know that?
That was on my questionnaire, but I'm not going to have that question on my questionnaire.
Yeah. So, all right. So I know I'm a voice in the wilderness. Take that off your feedback form. Because you're going to be up a creek with no paddles and no canoe if they come back and say, I think it's priced right.
Mhm.
Okay, interesting.
Because listen, you don't care what other agents think. You don't care what individual buyers think. You care what the market thinks.
Okay.
So, all right, and so
So the
whatever.
feedback was that it wasn't for them and they actually have submitted an offer on another property.
There you go.
That is a bummer. All right. Well, I mean, I know we had this conversation last week. I'm not one to continue to do things and bang my head against the wall and expect a different result. I'm not insane. So what do you think we should, I know you keep talking about this repositioning. So what do you think we should do now?
Aha, now that's a trap question. Well, how do you handle it?
So Lauren, I have the updated information for the properties that have sold in your area and the properties that are currently on the market. I'm going to send that to you and ask you how you feel your home compares to those and where you feel we should be positioned.
Okay, but you're the professional, right? That's kind of how you introduce yourself in this field. So can you give me some insight as to where you think I should be positioning this?
Yeah, well, here's how I'd answer that. Here's what I'll tell you. We've learned two valuable lessons. Number one, the market's saying no to 1.85, and we can eliminate every price from there up.
Got it.
So we have to go down. Where would you like to be at next?
Let's do 1.8.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it's top of the hour, and did you get this is a little bit different. I spent a little bit of time
Really
on
good. This was a
Thank you,
really
Doug.
good call.
What did you guys learn or rehear or think, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I could use that.
I like the idea of well, two things that you said, Denny. You got clarity with when Sandra, when she was doing the role play about the pricing, the listing versus the sold part, right? Getting clarity there. Also about taking how what they thought the price was out of your feedback. I had not heard that before, so that was something that stuck out to me.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sandra, I give you an A.
I appreciate that so very much. I feel like I want to throw up, but I think it's kind of like what you and I were talking about yesterday. It's just having it go over and over and over and just literally mastering our responses and listening. I think that's the bigger thing, is that I go in and I'm like, boom, let's go, let's do this, da 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 da, because I'm kind of like, let's just take charge and do it, as opposed to listening. Because I did pick up, when Lauren said, 1.8 to get it sold, I'm like, wait, that's not what we were talking about, So I think if we could just kind of, I'm speaking about me, nobody else, just cool my wheels going in and not being so necessarily take charge, but really listening intently, and then have a better response. Yeah.
Myra, you're maybe taking some notes. Did you get anything out of the call today?
Yes, I like the 3 outcomes, especially when you say to get it initial from the sellers, and that way we can send it back every time we talk to them.
Yeah, well, it's they get amnesia, and Sandra, I think you asked me if I even do it. I never had the idea of. I always thought, well, just have the form handy or refer to the form. They're not going to remember it. So yeah, so now that's my MO. I'm going to send them a picture of it, and they'll have it right there in front of them, and they see their initials that you went over it, etc.
And they're
That
expecting it
helps.
because you set that up. You told them every week, this is going to be the first question I ask you.
Right.
And I told Denny I'm popping mine into my dot loop so that when I send it, to get signatures, that's part of it.
Yeah.
The other thing, you guys, I've created this form that you can add your branding to it, add your logo, add your contact information to it. And so this does not have my branding there.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else before I let you go? You got some people on camera or off camera. If you want to comment, ask a question. Now is the time. I take another minute if you have a question.
Hang on, Denny. I'm gonna get my thing so I can scan that real quick. Hang on 1 second.
All right.
Oh, it's right here, actually.
Yes, the recording. Thanks for that. I don't know who sent that. The recording will be on my Facebook, I'm sorry, my YouTube channel. And here it is. Whoops. There's my YouTube channel, Denny Grimes, the master of real estate. If you can zoom in or just Google that, Denny Grimes, the master of real estate. And it's going to be posted to that. And there are 200 of them on there already. So have insomnia, go at it.
Can you go back to the when you get a chance, just to the fish slides, so I can just
I can
Yeah.
attach it and I can attach it to the chat.
Oh, okay, thanks. That'd be great. Thanks. Thank you. Got it.
Sure.
Perfect.
Wow. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13. Let me know when you're ready. I mean, if you get it, Lauren.
Yeah, I got it from there. Yeah, thanks.
All right. Thank you guys for being up and
Perfect.
have an awesome weekend.
Yeah, this is great. Can't wait to come back.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Danny,
Thank
thank
you.
you, everybody.
Happy
Oh,
New
put it
Year.
in there. Thanks, guys.